The massive space station floated in the darkness between stars, its crystal walls glowing with soft blue light. Inside, creatures from across the galaxy had gathered for the most important meeting in their history. Some walked on two legs like humans, others crawled with many arms, and some floated in the air like living clouds. All of them had one thing in common: they were about to decide what to do with Earth. Admiral Blake Davis sat in his chair aboard a hidden human ship, watching everything through secret cameras they had placed on the alien station months ago. His face was tight with worry as he listened to the aliens talk about his people like they were dangerous animals that needed to be caged. The main alien speaker stood up, its long arms waving in the air. "Look at what these humans do to each other," it said in a voice that sounded like metal scraping against stone. "They fight wars every few years. They destroy their own planet for money. They build weapons that could kill everyone on their world." Commander Ashley Brooks was on another hidden ship at the edge of Earth's solar system. She was writing down every word the aliens said. One by one, different alien species stood up to agree. The bird-like creatures said humans were too violent. The rock people said humans couldn't be trusted. Even the peaceful water beings said Earth's people were too dangerous to be free. "We have no choice," said another alien leader. "If we let them join us as equals, they will bring war to our peaceful galaxy. We must control them before they become too strong." Ashley felt sick as she heard these words. The aliens had been watching Earth for years, but they only saw the bad things. They saw the wars but not the peace treaties. They saw the pollution but not the people trying to clean it up. They saw the weapons but not the hospitals and schools. The vote began. One by one, each alien species raised their hand or tentacle or wing to vote. Every single one voted the same way. 847 different species, all agreeing that humans should be made into slaves. Captain Tony Jackson was the third human watching from another secret ship. His job was to send the results back to Earth. When the final vote was counted, his hands shook as he typed the message that would change everything. Back on Earth, President Diana Carter was waiting in a deep underground bunker. When Tony's message arrived, she closed her eyes for a moment. They had hoped the aliens might be reasonable, might give humanity a chance to prove they could be peaceful neighbors. But now they knew the truth. The galaxy had already decided humans were the enemy. "Operation Trojan Horses approved," she said into her communicator. Across the planet, thousands of people who had been preparing for this moment began to move. Dr. Kevin Wright was one of Earth's smartest scientists. 4 months, he had been working with a secret team to build fake weapons and fake technology. They made everything look more primitive than it really was. The real advanced human technology was hidden away where the aliens would never find it. General Lisa Martinez gathered her best soldiers. "Remember," she told them, "when they come, we act defeated. We act weak. We let them think they have won. But really, we will be watching them, learning from them, and waiting for our chance." In space stations around Earth, alien fleets were already moving. They had ships that could destroy cities with a single shot. They had weapons that humans had never seen before. But they were making one huge mistake: they thought humans would fight like other species had fought. They expected armies and space battles and quick defeat. They didn't know that humans had spent their entire history fighting enemies who were bigger and stronger. Humans knew how to wait, how to hide, and how to strike when the enemy least expected it. As the alien fleets moved toward Earth, Captain Blake Davis watched them come. Each ship was the size of a city, filled with creatures who thought they were coming to collect some new slaves. They had no idea they were flying into the most carefully planned trap in galactic history. The first phase was about to begin. Earth would fall, just like the aliens expected. But this defeat would be the beginning of something the galaxy had never seen before: humans fighting back not with strength, but with patience, cunning, and a refusal to stay down when knocked over. The trap was set. Now it was time to see if the galaxy was ready for what happened when you tried to enslave the human race. 6 months had passed since that terrible vote in space. Now the alien ships filled Earth's sky like a swarm of giant metal insects. There were so many of them that they blocked out the sun in some places. Each ship was bigger than the largest buildings humans had ever made, and they all had one purpose: to take control of Earth. The attack began at dawn. Bright beams of energy shot down from the alien ships, cutting through the defenses that humans had quickly built around their cities. In New York, the energy beams sliced through skyscrapers like a hot knife through butter. In London, the bridges over the Thames River melted into twisted metal. In Tokyo, the busy streets filled with smoke and panic as people ran for cover. But something was strange about how the humans fought back. Their weapons seemed old and weak compared to what the aliens knew humans could build. Their defenses crumbled too easily. their armies gave up too quickly. The aliens thought this proved they were right about humans being primitive, but they were seeing exactly what humans wanted them to see. President Diana Carter stood in front of cameras around the world, her face showing defeat and sadness. "My fellow humans," she said, her voice shaking, "we have fought as hard as we could, but we cannot win against such powerful enemies. To save lives, I am ordering all human forces to surrender. We must accept that our time as a free people has ended." People watching around the world cried as they heard these words. Some of the tears were real, it hurt to see their world being taken over. But many of the people crying were also feeling something else inside. They were feeling angry, and they were remembering the plan they had all agreed to follow. Colonel Ryan Mitchell was in charge of clearing out the Pentagon, the most important military building in America. He made sure his soldiers looked panicked as they carried boxes of equipment out of the building. The alien observers watched and took notes, thinking they were seeing humans abandon their most advanced technology in fear. What the aliens didn't know was that every piece of equipment they saw was fake. Ryan and his team had spent months building copies of real weapons that didn't work properly. The real advanced technology had been moved months ago to secret bases hidden deep under the ocean and inside mountains where alien scanners couldn't find them. "Make sure you drop that box and look frustrated," Ryan whispered to one of his soldiers as they walked past an alien observer. The soldier did exactly that, spilling fake computer parts on the ground and shaking his head like he was too scared to think clearly. The alien made notes on a strange device, probably writing about how panicked and disorganized the humans were. Around the world, similar scenes were playing out. In every major city, humans were lining up at what the aliens called processing centers. These were large buildings where the aliens sorted humans based on what kind of work they could do. Strong people were sent to dig in mines on distant planets. Smart people were sent to maintain alien machines. Everyone else was sent to do basic labor. Dr. Ashley Chen was one of Earth's best scientists who studied alien life. She had 3 college degrees and had written books that other scientists around the world respected. But when she got to the processing center, she made sure to act confused and speak in simple words. She wanted the aliens to think she was just smart enough to fix their machines but not smart enough to understand how they really worked. "You will maintain atmospheric processes on Mining World 7, the alien official told her through a translation device. "You will use basic tools and follow simple instructions. Do not attempt to understand the technology beyond your assigned tasks." Ashley nodded and tried to look grateful for the assignment. Inside, she was smiling. An atmospheric processor was a machine that made air breathable for different species on planets that didn't naturally have the right kind of air. If she was going to maintain these machines, she would learn exactly how they worked. And once she understood that, she would know how to break them when the time was right. Thousands of other humans were being sent to different alien worlds. Teachers were sent to keep records. Engineers were sent to build things. Doctors were sent to take care of alien workers. Each human acted defeated and grateful for whatever job they were given. But every single human who left Earth carried something invisible with them, the complete knowledge of human science, human history, and human military tactics. They had spent months before the invasion memorizing everything they might need to know. They knew how to build weapons, how to hack computer systems, how to organize resistance movements, and how to fight back against enemies who thought they had already won. The aliens thought they were harvesting a broken people. What they were really doing was spreading the most dangerous species in the galaxy across all their most important worlds, and giving them time to learn every secret the alien empire had. The harvest was complete, but the real crop would be revenge. 3 years had passed since the aliens took over Earth, and across the galaxy, alien leaders were celebrating their greatest victory. In the Grand Council chambers, they showed charts and numbers that proved how successful their decision had been. Human workers were producing more resources than any slave species in galactic history. Earth's metals, water, and energy were flowing to alien worlds faster than anyone had expected. Most importantly, the humans seemed completely broken and obedient. The alien commander in charge of human affairs stood before the council with pride. "The Earth species has adapted perfectly to their new role," he announced. "They work harder than expected, cause no trouble, and even seem grateful for the structure we have provided. Our decision 3 years ago has proven to be completely correct." What the aliens didn't see was what was really happening on worlds across the galaxy, where humans were playing the most dangerous game ever attempted by any species. On a planet called Tau Ceti Prime, a human named Blake Thompson worked in the alien ship repair facility. Before the invasion, Blake had been one of Earth's top space engineers, helping to design rockets that could travel to Mars. Now he spent his days fixing alien ships, and his alien supervisor thought he was the best worker they had ever seen. "Thompson, you fixed this quantum drive faster than our own engineers usually do," his supervisor said one day, looking confused but pleased. "How did you learn so quickly?" Blake scratched his head and tried to look embarrassed. "I just follow the instructions you gave me, sir. Maybe I got lucky?" What Blake didn't mention was that he had figured out how the alien quantum drives worked within the first month. Not only did he understand them, he had found 12 different ways to make them work better and 17 different ways to make them explode at exactly the right moment. Every time Blake accidentally improved an alien machine, he made detailed mental notes. At night, when the aliens thought he was sleeping, he used a secret communication device hidden inside what looked like a broken human music player. He sent everything he learned back to Earth, where human scientists were building a complete understanding of alien technology. Meanwhile, on a mining planet called Proxima 7, a woman named Kelly Davis was leading one of the most sophisticated intelligence operations in human history, disguised as simple mining work. Before the invasion, Kelly had been a captain in the Marine Corps, trained in combat tactics and military strategy. Now she organized human mining crews, and the aliens thought her leadership style was just typical human stubbornness. "We do things our way," Kelly would tell new human workers when the aliens weren't listening. To the aliens, this looked like humans being set in their old habits. What it really meant was that Kelly was organizing her teams like military units, with secret communication systems, backup plans, and detailed knowledge of everything around them. Kelly's teams didn't just dig for metals in the mines. They mapped every tunnel, every security camera, every weak point in the alien defenses. They figured out where the aliens kept their weapons, how their communication systems worked, and what their daily routines were. They even learned which aliens were unhappy with their jobs and might be convinced to help when the time came. Using mining equipment that looked broken but was actually modified, Kelly's team sent reports back to Earth every day. They reported on alien troop movements, security procedures, and technology weaknesses. The aliens thought the humans were just good at mining. They had no idea they were running a military intelligence operation. On another world, Dr. Rachel Wright worked in an alien research laboratory. The aliens thought she was eager to learn and please her masters, always excited to help with their scientific experiments. What they didn't realize was that Rachel had been one of Earth's leading scientists before the invasion, with expertise in physics, chemistry, and biology. Every day, Rachel made discoveries that impressed her alien supervisors. She found new ways to grow food, improved their medical treatments, and helped solve problems that had puzzled alien scientists for years. "You humans have such interesting perspectives," her supervisor would say. "Your primitive thinking sometimes leads to breakthrough solutions." Rachel would smile and act grateful for the compliment. But every breakthrough she made was carefully planned. She only solved problems that would teach her more about how alien science worked. Each solution gave her access to more advanced alien equipment and more classified information. She was like a spy who kept getting promoted because her enemies thought she was just naturally helpful. At night, Rachel used a hidden transmitter built into what looked like a human medical device to send her discoveries back to Earth. Human scientists received detailed information about alien biology, their medical weaknesses, how their technology worked, and what resources they depended on to survive. The most amazing part was that this was happening on hundreds of worlds across the galaxy. Everywhere the aliens had sent human workers, those humans were running secret intelligence operations. They learned alien languages, studied alien cultures, mapped alien defenses, and found alien weaknesses. All while appearing to be obedient slaves who were just trying their best to be useful. Back on Earth, which the aliens thought was defeated and empty of important resources, human scientists and military leaders were receiving a constant stream of information. They were building weapons that combined human creativity with alien technology. They were planning strategies that used everything they were learning about alien weaknesses. Most importantly, they were staying in contact with every human scattered across the galaxy. The galaxy saw successful slaves. Humanity was preparing for the greatest military operation ever attempted. It was exactly 8 in the morning, galactic time, when everything changed. On 4 to 7 different worlds across the galaxy, humans who had been acting like broken slaves for 3 long years suddenly stood up straight and revealed who they really were. The most carefully planned surprise attack in the history of the universe had just begun. On Earth, what the aliens thought were empty ruins suddenly came alive with activity. Deep underground, in what used to be called NORAD, Admiral Kevin Jackson walked into a command center that had been secretly operating for 3 years. The aliens had flown over this area thousands of times, seeing only destroyed buildings and empty land. They never suspected that beneath their feet was the most advanced military command center humans had ever built. All stations, this is Admiral Jackson, he spoke into his communicator. Operation Freedom begins now. All human units across the galaxy, you are authorized to drop your cover and begin Phase 1. Around Earth, something impossible started happening. Ships began appearing out of nowhere, as if they were materializing from thin air. These weren't the primitive human ships the aliens remembered from 3 years ago. These new ships gleamed with a strange combination of human design and alien technology. They were faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything the aliens had ever seen. The alien commander who had been in charge of watching Earth couldn't believe what his senses were telling him. "How is this possible?" he shouted at his crew. "Our scanners showed nothing. Where did these ships come from?" What the aliens didn't know was that humans had spent 3 years building these ships in secret locations under the ocean and inside hollowed-out asteroids. Using the alien technology that human workers had been secretly studying, they had created something new, ships that combine human creativity with alien science to create weapons more powerful than either species could build alone. Meanwhile, on a mining planet called Kepler 442b, Dr. Rachel Chen was in the middle of her regular work day, maintaining the atmospheric processes that kept the alien mining facility running. She had been doing this job for 3 years, and her alien supervisors trusted her completely. They thought she was just another obedient human worker who was grateful to have a job. At exactly 8 o'clock galactic time, Rachel stopped pretending. She stood up from the machine she was working on, pulled a small device from her toolkit, and pressed a button. Across the mining facility, explosives that had been hidden during 3 years of routine maintenance began to detonate. The alien supervisor who had always praised Rachel for being such a good worker stared at her in shock. "What are you doing?" he demanded. Rachel looked at him with a cold smile. "What I've been planning to do for 3 years," she said. "Did you really think we would stay slaves forever?" Similar scenes were happening on worlds across the galaxy. In alien research laboratories, humans who had been helping with scientific experiments suddenly revealed that they knew more about alien technology than the aliens themselves. In alien factories, human workers who had been praised for their efficiency suddenly turned the machines they had been building into weapons. On the mining world Proxima 7, Kelly Davis gathered the human mining crews that she had been secretly training as soldiers for 3 years. "Remember what we practiced," she told them as they armed themselves with weapons they had built from mining equipment. "We know every tunnel in this place, every security system, every weakness. Today we take back our freedom." The alien security forces on Proxima 7 found themselves facing an enemy that knew their base better than they did. The humans attacked from directions the aliens didn't even know existed, using passages they had secretly dug during their mining work. The aliens' own security systems turned against them, reprogrammed by humans who had been maintaining them for years. Captain Tony Martinez was broadcasting from the bridge of a massive new human warship called the Retribution. The ship had been built in secret using alien technology that humans had reverse-engineered, but it was designed with human tactics and human thinking. It was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Attention all alien species," Tony's voice rang out across galactic communication channels. 3 years ago, you voted to make us your slaves. You thought we were defeated. You thought we were broken. You made a mistake that will cost you everything. On the Alien Council station where the original vote had taken place 3 years ago, emergency alarms were ringing. Representatives from hundreds of species were shouting in panic as reports came in from across the galaxy. Their slave species had suddenly become an army, and that army was winning. "How did they do this?" one alien leader demanded. "We watched them. We controlled them. They were completely defeated." But Admiral Jackson's voice cut through their panic as he broadcast from Earth. "You saw what we wanted you to see. For 3 years, every human you sent to your worlds was a soldier in disguise. Every human you thought was maintaining your machines was actually learning how to destroy them. Every human you believed was broken was actually gathering intelligence and preparing for this day." The truth hit the aliens like a physical blow. They hadn't enslaved humanity, they had given humanity access to all their worlds, all their technology, and all their secrets. They had distributed trained soldiers across their entire empire and then given them 3 years to prepare for war. The species that had confidently voted to enslave Earth now realized they had made the worst mistake in galactic history. They had awakened something that should have been left alone, and now that something was coming for them with 3 years of carefully planned revenge. The hunters had become the hunted, and the galaxy would never be the same. The war that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It didn't last years like most galactic conflicts. It didn't even last a full year. 4 months was all it took for humanity to bring the mighty galactic empire to its knees. But here's the thing, humans could have ended it much faster. They chose to take their time, and they had a very good reason for that choice. General Rachel Martinez stood in the command center deep beneath Earth's surface, watching holographic displays that showed the status of battles across the galaxy. Each display represented another alien world where human slaves were systematically taking apart the empire that had enslaved them. But Rachel wasn't in a hurry. She wanted every alien species to understand exactly what they had done wrong. Take out their communication satellite over Kepler Prime, she ordered one of her officers. But do it slowly. Give them time to realize it's happening and try to stop it. I want them to feel helpless. This wasn't just about winning a war. This was about teaching a lesson that would never be forgotten. On alien worlds across the galaxy, the same pattern played out over and over again. Defense systems that aliens had trusted humans to maintain for 3 years suddenly turned against their creators. Space stations that were supposed to protect alien colonies became death traps as their own weapons pointed inward instead of outward. On Tau Ceti Prime, Blake Thompson stood in the control room of the main defense platform, his fingers dancing over controls he knew better than the aliens who had built them. For 3 years, he had fixed and maintained these systems while pretending to barely understand them. Now those same systems obeyed his commands perfectly. Warning, defense grid compromised, the alien computer announced in its mechanical voice. All orbital weapons now under hostile control. The alien commander of the base stared at Blake in disbelief. You're just a maintenance worker. You can't possibly know how to operate these systems. Blake smiled coldly. I've been operating these systems for 3 years. I just let you think you were in charge. With a few more keystrokes, every defensive weapon on the planet turned toward the alien military installations instead of protecting them. Similar scenes were happening on dozens of worlds. Kelly Davis led her mining crews, now revealed as trained soldiers, as they captured alien supply depots that kept entire sectors of the galaxy fed and fueled. Dr. Rachel Wright used her access to alien research facilities to shut down the computer networks that coordinated alien fleet movements across multiple star systems. The aliens had built their empire over thousands of years, connecting distant worlds with communication networks, supply chains, and defensive alliances. Now all of those connections were being severed by the very humans they had trusted to maintain them. As alien fleets found themselves cut off from their command structures and supply lines, they began to surrender. Not because they were defeated in battle, but because they couldn't function without the infrastructure that humans were systematically destroying. The first surrender came from the mining world Proxima 7. The alien governor sent a desperate message to Earth: please stop the attacks. We surrender completely. We will give you anything you want, money, resources, territory. Just please don't destroy our remaining facilities. More surrenders followed quickly. Within weeks, alien leaders who had once voted confidently to enslave humanity were sending panicked messages begging for mercy. They offered treasure, promised to free all slaves, and pledged eternal friendship with Earth. President Diana Carter received all these messages in her rebuilt office in Washington. The White House had been reconstructed during the 3 years of occupation, but now it served as the command center for a galactic power that no one had seen coming. She decided it was time to address the galaxy. Standing before cameras that would broadcast her words to every inhabited world, Diana looked directly into the lens with the confidence of someone who had just proven that her species could not be broken. 3 years ago, you voted to enslave my people, she began, her voice steady and strong. You decided that humans were too dangerous to be free, so you would control us instead. Today, I want you to understand something very important. You were right about us being dangerous. You were just wrong about being able to control us. She paused, letting those words sink in across the galaxy before continuing. The old galactic order is finished. From this day forward, no intelligent species will ever be enslaved by another. Any government caught forcing others into slavery will face the full military might of Earth. We tried being peaceful neighbors. You chose to make us your enemies instead. That was your mistake, not ours. Admiral Tony Rodriguez, now in command of the most powerful fleet in galactic history, concluded the broadcast with words that would be remembered for generations. His ships surrounded the main Galactic Council station, their weapons trained on the crystal halls where the vote to enslave humanity had taken place 3 years earlier. You wanted to know what makes humans dangerous, Tony said, his voice carrying to every corner of the galaxy. Now you know. We don't just fight back when attacked. We plan, we wait, we learn, and then we make sure the people who hurt us can never hurt anyone else again. Consider this your only warning. There will not be a second chance. The galaxy had learned a lesson written in the ashes of their greatest mistake. Mercy was not something the strong gave to the weak out of kindness. It was something earned through respect and mutual understanding. The aliens had chosen to see humans as slaves instead of equals, and they had paid for that choice with their empire. But in the end, humanity proved they were better than their enemies. They could have destroyed every alien world, could have enslaved the species that had enslaved them. Instead, they chose to build something new, a galaxy where freedom was protected by the same species that had once been its greatest threat. The war was over. The real peace was just beginning.